Welcome back. Instagram is taking steps to crack down on teenage sextortion. It's a trend where scammers convince teens to send them nude photos and then tell the teens they'll post those images online unless the victims send money or gift cards. The app says it's testing features, for example, blurring nude images sent in DMs to curb crime. The FBI says it's seen an increase in these cases in recent years. A number of states passed laws last year requiring parental consent for children to use social media. Here in Colorado, state lawmakers are taking steps to protect the mental health of our kids. And joining us now is Steve Carlton. He is a licensed social worker. Steve, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
Let's start with this. You know, it is no doubt that kids are impacted by social media. What are some of the effects on social media of kids?
Absolutely. So what we know is when kids are on social media 3 or more hours a day, there's significant impacts on anxiety, depression, sleep, diet, and maybe most important, body image issues.
So, of course, as a parent, you're worried about this. Is there a particular age that you think that children should be kept until, they're allowed to join social media?
I think wait until a minimum of 8th grade is kind of a good rule of thumb. And I think what's important for parents to understand is in one of these complaints and legal suits that Meta faced, they found that about 100,000 kids are sexually harassed online a day by adults, and so it's a significant problem, and it's a big concern.
The statistics are shocking.
Yes, they really are. They're really shocking. And I think the other important thing to note about social media is the way they've designed these, it's designed in a way to mimic a slot machine like you would see in Las Vegas. So it's beyond just social media exposure. It's reinforcing these compulsive behaviors that are they're addictive in nature. This is addictive behavior. It's similar to a substance.
That's a good way to put it, and I feel like putting it like that really kind of lets us wrap our arms around what's going on to kind of understand it better. I think a lot of parents would say, all the other kids are doing it.
Yeah.
They don't want their kid to be the weird one who's not allowed on. What would you say to those parents? What advice would you give parents?
Connection, right? Connection is our biggest weapon against depression and anxiety and kids not doing well. They need to feel connected to their peers. And on social media, you have this very fake version of reality. It's not reality. It's a fake version of it. And as people go from in-person, sort of human-to-human connection to online connection, we're losing something, right? And we need to reinforce in-person connection.
Definitely, yeah, it's the root of it all. Is there any other advice that you have for parents trying to navigate this as it's changing really every day for us?
Yeah, I think it's hard to monitor, but you need to be monitoring it, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. I think anything more than 3 hours a day is too much, and your kid will be becoming more depressed and anxious. And what parents need to remember, in the last decade, the suicide rate among kids and teens has skyrocketed. This is the biggest problem. They're not using drugs at rates they were 20 years ago, but what we are seeing is increases in suicide rates because of things like social media, and so they should be aware this has very significant consequences.
And with those really severe consequences, is there anything else that you want to make sure you say? Anything else that you really want to drive home? I mean, what is the bottom line? Because this is very, very serious, and it's not something that's going away, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's really taking children and adolescents, sort of youth, away from them. Right, they're getting sucked into these virtual worlds, and what we know from studies is when they get off of social media after they've been spending hours, they are depressed, they are anxious, they are not better off for this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, great advice, Steve. Thank you so much for coming in. We really, really appreciate it, Steve.
My pleasure.
Carlton.
Thanks.
All right.